The Play the Fight Song College Football Show. The offseason is in full swing. What does that mean? It means we have to take a look back at some of our best and worst takes of the college football season in 2025. And there were quite a few of them, gents. I'm joined alongside my week-to-week co-host, JP, and Jake. Reese is not with the show tonight. He will be back. He is just a working man. But JT is featured in these clips. Reese is featured in these clips. There is some clips that we have to break down because there are takes that are going to make us look, okay, I'll just say it. They make us look dumb. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if it's your first time joining the show. We appreciate you being here. This is College Football Heaven. We will cover college football week to week, including the offseason. We value bowl games. We're purists of the sport. It's college football all year long here at Play the Fight Song. Gents, how we doing tonight? JP, you're up first.
Doing great. Yeah, GA hopping in, already giving his thoughts on some of his takes. He didn't give any. I guess he had a good one in there, but he had some bad takes exposed. That's part of it, right? You got to laugh at yourself.
Appreciate the honesty, the accountability around here.
It's you got to laugh at yourself. If we're going to do this enough, we say dumb things at times. It's good to get a good laugh at it.
No.
And I think that there are. I don't think that we sent all of them in, so some of them are going to be a surprise and we're going to remember them, so it'll be good to laugh along with. I don't know about you guys, but the cold is, I about had it. I usually am just fine, like I just kind of deal with it.
Don't get me started.
I think I've had it.
Chop wood, carry water. Just another day to me. I just get up and actually I'm like my David Goggins workout. I start out every day with a 5 a.m. run of 10 miles in this cold, actually.
No, you don't. It is absolutely miserable cold here in the Midwest. Jake, how are you doing? Are you ready to recap some of your bad and good takes? There's a lot of bad in here, but there's some good.
Yeah, no, I had a lot of fun going back and pulling these for good and for bad because we're accountable around here. We don't run from our bad takes like some big shows do because people just like to think they're never wrong on things. But we're wrong and we love being wrong, and we love when we kind of celebrate it and enjoy it and laugh together with it. The doc is very light tonight, so I'm actually kind of excited about it just because like feels like it's going to be very like just go with the flow, laugh at ourselves, and kind of have a good time tonight.
There will definitely be opportunities to laugh at yourself, to laugh at us tonight. Drop your takes. If you had a preseason take maybe you didn't put out there, you weren't in our comment section, you were somewhere else, that you're like, this was a bad one and I was living on that hill and dying by it, drop it in the comments. Let us know.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I feel like at the end we should pull up one of our videos, probably that TCU Arizona State game, and start reading some of the comments that people blasted us after we roasted ourselves.
We could hold some accounts accountable.
I feel like that would be pretty funny. I might pull that out for the end.
A quick shout out. Hold on. Quick shout out. I got my James Franklin 1-0 lock the fuck in hoodie on for our bad takes, just because that itself.
That's sick. Where's that? Is that Barstool one or something?
Where'd you get that?
No, this was sent to me by Happy Valley United, the collective at Penn State. Shout out to those guys. My boy James out there sent me a bunch of swag, and my James Franklin 1-0 Penn State hoodie.
That's sweet.
Nice.
Can you ask him for another one?
I think I have a hat that says LTFI.
I'd go to a Penn State game and wear that. I'd have a good time wearing that.
The world comes full circle. Now he's at my
boy James was done wrong. I think they should give him another chance.
Yeah, you just want your boy back.
It was a yeah, I had to click in. He's all in back there, like the towel says. But we want to remind you, hit the like button on this show, hit the subscribe button to the channel. If you've missed some content that we put out the last week or so, we got Iowa videos out there. We got another Iowa video coming with the schedule reveal. Jake's Iowa State schedule reveal and thoughts are out there with JT on our Iowa State show. We got the money game where Jake and I sat and talked the changes around college football and whether or not we'll ever be the same like when you fell in love with it, for about a half an hour. So check those out on our channel. Drop likes on those videos. Make sure you subscribe to it so you can get notifications when we upload those all off season long. With that, gents, let's go into it. Let's talk college football playoff news first before we go into the take side of things. We got some good news if you're a college football fan. College football playoff is staying the same. 12 teams. The rules didn't really change a ton. They writ a Notre Dame rule down. Kind of gave them the benefit of the doubt going forward with all the stuff going around this season. The G6 now will be called because we are adding back the Pac-12 people. So if we refer to it as the G6, that's what it is. They are going to get an auto bid. It does not have to be a conference champion. It's just the automatically highest college football playoff ranked group of 16. The Power 4 we are going to get 4 guaranteed conference champions. That would mean that Duke would have made the college football playoff. So on and so forth, right? Makes sense. Guys, what do we think about it? JP, your thoughts on the changes? You like them, hate them, disagree with them? What are you at?
Yeah, it's similar to the just the switch from 4 to 12 and then the NIL. Like a lot of things have to happen and get tweaked for one thing to be good as a solution. So 12 is the right move, I think.
Yeah.
I think 16 I would have been fine with. 12 I'm good with. I think 24 was it's a path too far.
March Madness. Throw everybody in there.
Yeah, it just would have been a waste. But
is FCS at 24? Not to steer you off conversation. I'm sorry.
24.
I thought there was 16.
There are buys though, so I don't know. Isn't it just gotta be?
Is it even 20? Sick with a couple buys?
Yes, it's 20. It's at least 20.
I'll look it up while
might
you're
be
talking.
number. But what I was gonna say, like the inclusion of conference champions makes sense, right? And then you get your conferences to get their tiebreakers correct, and to make sense, it fixes the issue and where Duke doesn't get in, Duke does get in, kind of thing, right? You win your conference, you get in. That's the anomaly. We're not going to run into that a ton of times where a 7-5 team gets in, but doesn't win, right? And I think that is a good spot to be in, as well as you are incentivizing that still to a point. Now, if this starts going 16-24, I think we start axing college football or the conference title games. I don't think that's
God, I hope so.
When it was 4 and right now with 12, it makes sense. Like they fit, right? You got to win your conference to get in. It's not coming down to some tiebreaker for someone to get an auto bid or not. It makes a ton of sense in that situation. I think it goes farther. You have to take them away, because when it was 2 with the BCS and you were getting co-Big 10 champions, co-Big 12 champions, nobody really had a fuss about it, right? Because it
meant something.
Yeah, well, and at the end of the day, there was only 2 slots. So it wasn't like, in most cases, even if there's 2 teams, in separate conferences, only 2 of you get picked in a spike. There's nothing you can do in that spots. But if there's slots like 16 and 24 or 12, whatever, then you want to feel like you have a piece and a say in all that. So I'm good with it. I kind of think that this should be more of a majority votes thing and not just a unanimous decision across all. If 3 conferences are good with 16, that should outvote the one conference that wants 24. I think it should be that. If we want the betterment for the sport, why does my vote not count the same? I understand why the unanimous thing stands and exists. I just think it should be a majority vote.
And kind of to spin off that, I think the one thing that comes from it, and it felt like all season long, the conversations that were happening around the college football playoff were going to lead us more down the territory of conference championship games, either being to be had with, like they're never going to happen again, or they're mattering less and less. And I feel like now with the auto bid, maybe if you're a Duke, and granted that tiebreaker is probably going to change within the ACC, how much more does that game matter, right? Like they're going to get teams that win conference title games that maybe wouldn't have gotten that bid within the 12 teams beforehand playing in that matchup. So that I think is awesome for the sport to make conference championship games matter. They always should, in my opinion. I'm not sure how I feel on the Notre Dame side of things, where if they're in the top 12, it's an auto bid. But I mean, what's that going to really change if they're flirting around 13 and 12 with Miami, just like this year? I think this year was kind of a baseline for it. I think people were mad that Notre Dame has a set rule for them. But again, they would have missed it because they weren't ranked in the top 12 at the end of the season. So, Jake, your thoughts on this news?
Seems like they're just trying to keep all the big name brands happy, like a Notre Dame and
name of the game, baby. Happy wife, happy life.
It really feels like it. By the way, it is 24 teams in the FCS playoff. 8 teams get a seed and a first round bye. We heard a lot of voices really wanting to expand it when it was at 4. There was a big contingent. Even this podcast was kind of split between wanting to stay at 4, wanting to increase to 8, 12, whatever that looked like. Do you guys feel like a lot of people are not being vocal about expansion anymore? Like, you feel like college football fans are pretty happy at 12? I feel that way, and I think it should be that way. I don't know what you guys think.
I think so. I was anti-12. I'll say that here, but I was anti-12 in the basis of football we were in, the pre-NIL, the transfer portal being the way it was. Because if you were 12 and you were playing football like it was 2019-18, I didn't really see anything flipping. There wasn't going to be that parity. Now all this is involved in it. I think it fits. I don't know if you kind of look at.
I mean, the number 1 seed won the
Yeah.
national championship this year, by the way.
Yeah, but
no, I get what you're saying. But I'm saying I don't think
Number
anybody's
10
really.
seed. They played the 10 seed though, Jake.
Yeah.
I don't. That's true. I don't think a lot of people are arguing for more. 16 would be okay, fine, but you're really teetering the line of what do these conference championships mean anymore? If the more you expand it, because the top 2 conferences, the majority of them, especially in the Power 4, are probably going to get in a bigger playoff. So you're still keeping the value of some of these conference title games. I think 12 is a good number. I even with the NIL and the expansion and all that stuff, I think 12 is still the perfect amount of, like, we got it right with Miami. The committee got it right, getting Miami in and making a run. People would argue Notre Dame could have made the same run. Maybe that's fine, but you didn't do enough to get in a 12-team playoff. And if 12 regular season games doesn't give you enough body of work to get in a 12-team playoff, I really don't care what your opinion is. So I, as someone, again, too, like JP, was for 4, I don't really want to see expansion unless things are tweaked. And I think 12 is good. And I feel like the majority of college football fans are very happy with 12.
I think the ones that aren't.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
sorry.
I was just going to say the ones that probably aren't are going to be the middle of the road teams, right? The ones that sit on the bubble.
I was going to say the 6th SEC school that gets
Sankey.
bumped out.
Yeah,
we played an SEC schedule.
Yeah, same for the Big Ten. If the ACC starts being the conference that it was at one point in time, and it's consistently 2, maybe 3, right, or 4 teams in contention every year, then you might see more people bump and being like, oh, that's not enough. All right, that 12 is not enough. The 16 or nothing, right? I got 2 ACC teams in there every year, maybe. Or if the Big 12 becomes that situation where it's 2 teams, right? Perception has to change in those situations, but right, it's a real possibility it could happen. I think that's when you start hearing more people push for more and more and more.
We're going to see plenty of flashback clips tonight with our bad takes from the season. But if we flash it back before this went to 12 teams and all the conversations, at least I myself had, for in favor of the expansion for the G5 aspect of it, where we're getting those teams in, they have a chance, they go 11-1, 12-0, they should have a chance at the national title. But then when we go beyond 12 or just getting that G5 team in the 12th spot, that's when I become kind of against my argument, where college football's national title has always been the best, in my opinion, because it requires you to be near perfection. And I've said that a million times on this show. When we allow 24 teams in there, I mean, no, like, just as an example, because we always are
9-3 gets you in.
Like 8-4 Iowa, you're in the 24.
Probably,
you were 24th or 23rd, right? In the last poll.
Yeah, before the bowl game, yeah.
So there are 8-4 team in the playoff pitching to be, right next to 16-0 Indiana. I guess I would have to get over it if it got to that point, but it's just not what college football to me was.
If they wanted to argue it, like if there's 24 teams out there, people could use this as their argument. Look at Illinois State this year. I don't think Illinois State, from my knowledge, I wasn't that immersed into the FCS stuff. I don't think they were even a top 12 or 16.
They weren't seeded. No, they were.
And they made a run, but nobody's paying attention to that. But that could be somebody's argument that I would actually appreciate if you actually studied the FCS. But I don't think a lot of college football fans will actually do that.
Yeah, that's also not the norm of the FCS, and they have
it's not.
No.
They went on
top 5 seeds.
That game comes on in Frisco. It's North Dakota State, South Dakota State, then number 1, number 2 team, right? Like, you may get an outsider at 8 or 9, but it's pretty consistent towards the top there.
And for the the G6 part of this, right? You don't have to be a conference champion to get in necessarily, right? Is that what it is written as?
So it's the top. It's the best G6
highest
team,
ranked. Yep.
Which wouldn't
You're
it
going to
be
end up being
USF?
It's going to be a conference champion.
See, that's where, Parks, I'm glad you said it, because personally for me, if I'm picking the best G6 team to compete in this year's playoff, granted we had 2 this year, but if I was picking somebody, USF would have been my goal.
Texas.
I'm picking USF as the best G6 team to go and compete and actually maybe win a football game in a playoff. But do we ever actually, like, next year?
They did it to themselves to lose those games.
I agree, but if that comes up again next year, do they put a USF in who won on the road in Gainesville, had a really good body of work, but didn't even get to their conference title? Like, will it result to that? I don't think people realize that got slid under the radar. Like some people were like later talking about it this week. They're like, you guys know what the ramifications of the G6 bid is this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or I thought at first they were getting no automatic bids. They're like, no, it's the best
one.
G6 team, and it doesn't have to be a conference champ, which is fascinating.
Well, what was trying to think? JMU is ranked 24, 25, and Tulane was ranked a little above them, if I remember
21,
right.
and 21 and 24 respectively.
Yeah, something like that. To me, the real bummer here is the separation of the Mountain West becoming some of the Pac-12. I think that hurts them more than it helps. I think it really hurts the Mountain West. I think they're becoming MAC-ish, right, in some ways, especially because they've kind of seen a steady decline, which is odd because that's what
losing Boise is a huge deal that nobody talks about.
And then the American kind of holds firm as the best conference. But how do you handle teams that go 10-2 with one conference loss and a power loss versus the 11-1 team that wins
North
their
Texas
conference, but they have a conference loss and no P4 wins or losses?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of one of those things where you're like, how do you handle that situation? Because on the other side of this, I'm going to go to Notre Dame here just as an example. If Notre Dame doesn't schedule their normal ACC partnerships and they get a couple other big games, but they play 3 or 4, G6 teams, and that's incentivizing them to go get them. That kind of pushes these teams that already need the money, already do these buy games, to go play power conference teams, to go play Notre Dame, to go play an SMU, to go play an Iowa, to go play a Boston College, whatever, right? To go play those teams. So you're incentivizing them to go do that. That's good. But then you're de-incentivizing power conference teams playing other power conference teams out of conference. And if that's the way we're going to handle things, we need to hold everybody to the same standard, which is why, is it fair that Notre Dame gets a top 12, top 12 right before the conference, after the 14 weeks, right before conference title week, if they're in that 12? I don't really love that.
Because while taking off games like USC, by the way, let's throw that in there. They're taking off important games they had late.
They are not pushed to play tough games, right? They obviously that improves if the ACC improves. Now, granted, next year they get at BYU, Miami, SMU, and then they play at Lambeau against Wisconsin. That's not bad. Their ACC grabs aren't super tough, but they get one of the top dogs in Miami. But they're going to play Navy every year. Mm-hmm. They're no longer play USC every year. It is not fair. I do not think it is even remotely fair in this to say top 12 you're in. So you get, what you're telling me is you don't have to play that 13th game. You kind of set your schedule. And then if you beat these teams or lose to these teams and they win a title, you can just be like, oh, well, we're in the top 12 anyway. How penalized are they going to be, like, from losing games? Because we saw it this year. They lost early and then won out. They just kept climbing. They just kept climbing and climbing and climbing. We just forgot about other losses. So I don't think it's that fair. 12 is to tell them they sit in the top 12. Why would you ever play anybody tough? I can win all my games, go 10-2, 11-1 with a couple, like 1, maybe 2 good wins on the year.
Right.
Maybe it's an SMU at home or at a BYU, or maybe you get a Miami or somebody like that. And that's your one. You put your sticker on that wall and you live by it. That's it. And why would you ever schedule anybody else?
Again, just put them in the ACC. Let's go through the comment from the Friday KC, AWL. Shout out for him for being in the chat. Conference USA is about to get screwed with the new rule. I would agree, like they're going to get that second opinion, obviously, versus the American. However, what we just said is the Mountain West losing a couple of big players, Boise State and few and far between sometimes, like a Utah State. That hurts them. Like they were usually a team that was floating around that conversation. And then on the other side, I think Conference USA is getting better. Like Kennesaw State this year playing in that title game, like the additional teams that they've put in, there are a couple of bigger names than that conference that are kind of replacing some of the really bad play that we've got.
And if they can capitalize on the fall a little bit of the Mountain West and the fall a little bit of the Sun Belt, like when they have tough years and you go win those games, I think that does a lot for Conference USA. It's also, they've brought in teams who want to win, right? They bring in a Missouri State, a Delaware. They bring in Jack State a couple years ago. These are teams that want to win, right? The teams that are invested in the football program. So it's going to be one of those things where you got to play people and you got to beat them, right? You got to go play if you're Jack State and Auburn and get close or beat them. You got to go play a Florida, and that's just kind of the way it is.
At the end of the day,
the perception is reality to the
Yeah.
people making the decision.
That's where it is. The college football playoff. We'll keep you updated on any changes that come. This is pretty much set in stone, right, for 2026. So we have the idea there may be a couple of tiebreaker changes within conference titles. Conferences may change things. We'll cover that all off season long. So make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let's move on to the next point. And the point of tonight's show, let's go to bad and worst, best and worst, not bad and worst. There are going to be quite a few of those, however. Takes from the 2025 college football season. First, we want to remind you to shop our great partners over at No Rivals. ShopNoRivals.com. Use the code PTFS at checkout for free shipping on the best headwear in collegiate sports. Jake's rocking the Demon Deacon Wake Forest cap tonight. I got on my golfing Herbie hat. Golf season's around the corner. Warmer weather is just on the horizon. And right after that comes kickoff. So make sure you gear up for the offseason national title with No Rivals. ShopNoRivals.com. Use the code PTFS at checkout for free shipping on the best hats in collegiate sports. All right, gents, let's do it. Best and worst takes from the 2025 college football season. As an honorable man, as a good host of a show, let's kick it off with myself. And I was sent this
We're
clip.
doing best or worst first?
We are going
to be a
bad.
mix?
There's
Okay,
majoritively bad on video that we have. We can share our best ones at the end. People don't really want to hear us toot our own horn, right? If they're AWLs like Friday KC, they know we know what we're talking about majority of the time. But here are some instances that we do not. Let's lead it off with me, of course, giving an over-under pick on a team out of the ACC. We'll roll the clip, and we'll talk about it after.
Which one out of this group do you feel the most confident in? Parks, I'll throw it back to you.
Yeah, I really looked at this, and this is one that I would suggest taking for everybody, but I had it at 9.5. There's the juice is on 10.5, but that's Clemson. Clemson's mostly seen at 9.5, and you can get it like minus 120, which is still good enough odds to tickle me. I feel like they're a double-digit win team, like no doubt in my mind with the strength they have coming back, especially with the experience they have at the quarterback position with Cade Klubnik. So Clemson over 9.5 really makes me feel good. The 10.5, I mean,
does it tickle
what
you?
do you want from me? It didn't tickle me enough. Sandusky level tickle. It tickled me the wrong way. What are we doing? I mean, 7. They got to 7, folks, and they got blown out in their bowl game. And honestly, the 7 included like a win against a South Carolina team at the end of the year that I would have tossed up at the beginning of the season. Just didn't pan out. And we should have put this on the entire show because we released an entire clip saying, "Can anybody stop Clemson?" In the preseason.
You were not the only one in America that had Clemson winning a lot of games and making the national title. You were definitely not alone there. There's a lot of people as their national champion was Clemson. So that one's still funny, but that's a good one.
Everybody's got to sit back this next offseason and kind of really think through the narratives and the real part of everything, because there was a couple examples this year why you just don't jump on.
Clemson will be an example. That's a great point, JP. Like next year we'll be talking about a team. We'll be like, but remember Clemson last year? They're going to be made an example out of. All right, let's go to the next one. This one's on Jake, and this is a game preview out of the SEC where Jake gave a pick that he wanted you to put your actual money on that just didn't pan out.
This one many times.
Yeah, let's talk Georgia and Tennessee.
I think Georgia just they've dominated Tennessee. That's one thing. Like Tennessee's fared well against Alabama, but I think Georgia has Tennessee's number, and I do think they're going to open it up a little bit and they're going to have success. Although I would just hammer the under in this game. I mentioned it's going to be like Ohio State, 49.5.
49. Oh, it's come down. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like Ohio State, Texas. Like they might throw 100 more screens with Stockton Parks, and it's going to be good defenses, kind of just battering rams going at each other. And
the final score of that game was 44-41.
I think the over hit in the first half. If I remember right.
I mean, combined, I think they almost doubled the over-under.
It was
set in that game.
14-14 fast.
How about me saying it's gonna be like Texas, Ohio State? That was 14-7, and it was just the exact opposite. It couldn't have been a worse read on a game.
There's nothing you can do.
There is sometimes you just run into that, and that one was a lot of points very fast. So hopefully you did not hammer the under. Hopefully there was definitely no battering rams on the field. Nobody was stopping anybody. But hey, even Albert Einstein got questions wrong eventually. Let's go to the next one. This one's on JP. The Android quality on this one, apologies, I don't think it downloaded correctly, but this was a real video taken from this season in our Mac preview. And JP gave it little thoughts on his quarterback play.
Yeah, I do actually.
Give it to
I'm
us.
kind of proud of this one because it took me a second. It was like an organic find here. So I think the MAC has a real shot here to be one of the better G5 conferences quarterback wise.
Wow.
I do.
My wow still stands.
It's great, dude. He goes, it's kind of an organic find. Like he's like really been
He
sitting on
believes
this
that
one.
shit.
I got some stats to back up how bad that got. One quarterback was in the top 50 of pass yards, and he was at 45. That was Noah Kim. There was 5 50 through 100 in the same one. The highest one was Taquan Roberson at 60, Gleason at 61, Finley 64, Navarro 73rd, DeShields at 88th, and 4 in the top 40 or top 50 of touchdown passes. So that's not bad. But if you watched it, this was a Daquan Finn I mentioned. That didn't end up very well. Roberson didn't end up very well.
What about your MAC title winner quarterback, Brock Lowry, who maybe threw 10 or 15 passes a game at Western
Now,
Michigan?
I will say,
they never had to throw the ball.
If Labas plays more for Central Michigan, I think that he has a chance to kind of go up there and hit the passing yards thing. But
they played 3 quarterbacks.
It was rough. Yeah, it was rough. So
Killed me.
I thought there was talent there. I thought Finley was a good piece. I thought I didn't think DeShields would have the year he did. Noah Kim was better than we thought. So yeah, that was tough.
No worries. There will be plenty of preview season a part of these bad and good takes. We had some good ones, believe it or not. Let's go to the next clip, which is back to Jake. And Reese is still a part of this. He caught a couple strays.
You're not.
JT,
you're not done
you
yet,
are not
Reese.
left out. But Jake, this one goes to teams on the rise within college football. And let's say he was maybe just trying to be a good friend here. Jake, back to you for your next team on the rise.
Yeah. Okay. I'll do it. I'll do it because I'm a nice friend. I'll do it because we have good listeners on this show. I think Nebraska's on the rise just as out of 16 teams in a Big Ten. I think that they're, on the rise to be maybe on the upper half of the Big Ten.
Guys, did you see like my face, like the smile in that? Didn't I look?
You showed off your Fred Hoiberg polo.
I was rejuvenated. I was happy. Like that was a different version of me that hadn't been through the 2025 7-5 season. Look at me. I was smiling ear to ear in that.
Did Nebraska finish in the top 8? I don't even remember.
They might have been 8.
It was like right on there. But then you throw in like
ties.
The Rayola situation now. It's even funnier now going into next year with like Nebraska's schedule and what that kind of not to ruin your offseason parks, but what the kind of murky situation looks like in Lincoln. That even makes it funnier.
It's Anthony Calandria. It's Calandria. It's Calandria time. Little bit of motion back there. Did you
include the other one in that, or should I just add on top of that the other team I gave on the rise?
Oh no, there's another clip. You don't worry, you'll come back around to that other side. There's a couple of teams on the rise.
It was a entire bad segment on me.
We got to play. This one's bad. This next one's bad. I think I get tied. This is like a precursor here. I like my brands. Like if I like your logo, like your gear, they're kind of in like an autistic edge that you get in my mind as a college football fan. And Oklahoma State is a team that receives that. And with that comes clips like this.
I guess my hot take would be, I think Oklahoma State is going to compete on the road at Oregon. I don't think that nobody. I mean, I guess that's going to be a hot take.
Number to it.
They did not.
You missed the rest of the clip. I think I said like, what's compete, and you're like 7 to 14 points. Yeah, that's all they got. Like, what's the line? I think JP's like, it's like 22.5. You're like, taking that 22.5. That's easy.
They did not compete. It was never close. It was splattering, as some would say, and I got by my own.
That was the biggest blowout of the year. Like I can't remember a ton on the top of my head, but I think that was like the biggest. There. Like Oregon was in
Illinois, Duke,
Rutgers.
Was
I'd say Illinois, Indiana.
Indiana was bad. Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, Oregon
That really got out of
not.
hand fast.
It did. That one escalated very quickly. So I'll eat it. I'll still support my Pokes next year.
This is
Basically, North
great.
Texas reincarnated.
Hey, it is
All
tough to hit those sometimes, man. You gotta take a chance. You didn't know.
JP sent me his clips for bad and good. He sent me one of the clips. I found a couple lingering out there that maybe weren't sent to me. And this one definitely
plenty.
should make the list of maybe over-under win totals. This team comes from the SEC.
It's got us on the right side of the money here. Ole Miss under 8.5. That's plus 152 on a book. You want to talk about a team you're not really sure what to think of right now? Ole Miss.
Yeah, love that pick.
You lose a quarterback that kind of is really good at this. There's
He even was second guessing it in the clip. Like,
I mean, I doubled down. I'm no better. I was like,
you said,
love that
it.
pick, JP.
Love it.
Love that pick. It's a great pick.
They won 13 games, Jen. That team won 13 games. And
they won a lot of
college
games.
football playoff.
Hey,
Yeah,
to be fair, Austin Simmons stays in there. I probably win that one.
Yeah, it's fair. That shameless did come out in the woodwork. But yeah, that was a tough one. I actually stumbled upon that one. You'll have to share this one separate because there's no clip for it. But you gave a bad pick on Arizona, and I was looking for it, and that is what I found. I was like, it might have just been a bad show.
Under was it under?
I had Arizona under 4.5 at plus 145.
4.5 wins. That can't be right.
Yes,
That's
it was.
right.
Because it was plus money a lot, and then it got moved bet up to 5.5. I
Oh.
said I did love the trenches. I didn't like the schedule, and I didn't think the defense was going to be very good. Defense ended up being pretty good. They found a way to win a lot of games, and turned out to be one of my favorite teams to watch during the year. So yeah.
All right, let's flash it back to the G5 and go back to Jake for another team on the rise within college football. Jake, you're not going to believe who you said was on the rise. It really felt like it. But let's talk G5.
But for me, UTEP is on the rise. Couple of
Love
reasons.
Walden.
Yep. Scotty Walden. I think anybody would be really fortunate to have him as their head coach at a spot like UTEP. Just a young, energetic guy that really feels like he cares and he wants to be down in El Paso. They're the number one recruiting class in Conference USA. I think they were even number one last year. So he's really building something as far as like getting
He was not.
All right.
It's still being built.
He's building didn't like one of the didn't somebody this I don't want to say this and be wrong. Didn't they get in trouble for another player like doing a horrible crime or something? Like he was charged for
I don't know if that was their football team.
Are you sure? I thought it was their
like
towards the end of the year. One of the guys got charged for murder or something. He was wanted. I can't remember. I'd have to double check that, but it was like bad to worse. And there's a lot of people out there.
That's the type of reporting you get here at PTFS. I think he was wanted for murder. I'm not sure. Don't quote me. But like, come on, man. Let's be certain before we accuse somebody of that.
Well, I'm not accusing anything. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not naming names.
Look it up. Just search up UTEP murder for more.
He goes, everybody would want Scotty Walden right now. I don't think anybody wants Scotty Walden right now. That guy is, just kind of acts like a clown sometimes.
I still like Scotty Walden. I'm not buying into that. All right. If you hear in the background, my dog loved and found the squeaky toy. So apologies for that. But let's go. We're going to stay on Jake. You're next on the list. This is an over-under and a team that you felt great about that just didn't pan out within the G5. So let's hear it and start off with the G5 because we cover all 136 teams here. So we're going to give you our favorite overplay of the group of 5 season. Any team in the group of 5, who you taking their over, tell us why. Let's go to Jake first.
Yep. Sorry, just pulling up their schedule here quick. This was my first over I took for the season. I guess when I placed this a couple of months ago. So Justin, you might know where I'm heading with this. I'm going over 7.5 with San Jose State. I believe you can get this for minus 120 on most books. This is the only one that I'm not getting for plus money for, but I feel like you're paying pretty evenly. If like minus 120 is about as low as I'll go when I'm paying for futures. What Ken Niumatalolo.
I had to chirp in there with a text. That was after he sent me the clip. And I was like, man, you got to crop these. And then I called Jake a name, which anybody who took that pick would have probably doubled down with me on that.
Do you want me to name you or list out the last 4 games?
I mean, you got the schedule pulled up then. You might as well re-pull it up now.
Their last 4 games, they lost to Air Force by 10. They lost to Nevada 55-10. They lost to San Diego State 25-3, and they lost to Fresno to end the year 41-14. Just
got away from them a little bit, but
I also had them as
there.
they're in my Mountain West title game too. I left out that part. I was like, yeah, easy schedule. They're running the table. Like that, they won't lose the Mountain West game. They lost plenty of Mountain West games.
I think they might have bought into the hype themselves in that building.
Hey, living you learn. Also, before you go to the next clip, Parks, I wanted to clarify. One of the UTEP coaches got into a wreck and got a DUI.
Was that the only thing? And that's what you came up with?
How'd you get murder from that?
I think he killed somebody in the wreck, but I'm not 100% certain. Like I'm again, no accusations here.
None of the above, none of the crimes listed above are condoned by Play the Fight song. Let's put that out there for any ads. But all right, let's go to the next one. And by far, this is the last worst take clip we have. We'll share some more bad takes.
This is great.
But this is by far the worst one of the season. And you'll see what team it features and why. Let's run it.
SMU and Pitt. I just think you look at that schedule, there's no way there's only 2 losses on there. I think there's a couple, and that defense was an issue last year. And offensively, they have to score a lot of points, I think, if they want to even come close to 10 wins. So give me the under Miami 9.5.
I love it because go ahead, JT. Sorry, you first. No, you first.
I was going to say last year when I was listening to this pod with you guys, when you guys were going through these games, one of my favorite bets that I ended up taking is I tailed Reese with Syracuse's over last year.
Yeah, you did, buddy.
I've taken a couple of your guys' today already. Not like right now, but I've had a couple. I've been sitting on the Miami one like all summer, pretty much essentially since Iowa State played them last year. I was like, this defense is terrible. Their backups are no good. There's no way this team's going to be as good as they are next year. Lo and behold, they're back at 9.5 wins. So I just took Miami's under right now. So I just wanted to shout out Reese for that one. That's the one I'm trailing right now.
I love that. I said it. That was my hot take on the ACC preview. Is that they're probably gonna lose 5 games. I really see 5 losses on the schedule. So God knows I see 3. I think when you start, fellas, they played the national championship.
Be fair, they barely hit over 9.5.
Yeah. My favorite's like
I said 7 and 5.
Reese goes, well, their defense is terrible last year, and it's going to be terrible again this year, as if their defense didn't actually was the reason that it led them to the national championship game.
Yeah, JT said that all their backups suck too, and they're not going to get any better.
And the worst part of that clip is that's the part that got clipped of JT being like, dude, I wrote down multiple picks during this episode. Like, we're getting great options out to the public. And that was the part that was clipped, that the team that played for the national championship is either going to go 7 and 5, and it's definitely not reaching double-digit wins. And they sure as shit did that.
I got one more honorable mention one. I don't think you have it clipped, but I think the story's kind of funny just on how it played out. In our week 4 preview, we were kind of going over our best bets, and I needed one. And I was really confident in this team because I had them in the Sun Belt title. I thought there was a real shot that they could be really good. Didn't turn out to be that way. But the Cajuns traveled up to play Eastern Michigan and Ypsilanti, and we're 2.5-point favorites on the road. And I was like, this line smells like a rat. It doesn't make any sense. I should be on the other side. I should be taking Eastern. Was on Louisiana, got a couple of the buddies on it. We're in Deadwood, South Dakota. Guys are sitting on a table. They're all in the DraftKings account, and I walk over there. I've had a few, and I'm like feeling real confident at this point. Don't know who these people are. What do you guys got tomorrow? What do you guys got? And they're like, I don't know. What do you got? And I go, Louisiana is easily the play. Easily.
And it was slow too.
Insider stuff right there.
It wasn't like a drunken, I'm walking up like, dude, you guys take Louisiana. It was dude, I know somebody within the Raging Cajuns program in Louisiana is this play. And these guys looked at him and were like, oh, very nice. Like, right, we're in a spot that everybody's gambling. There's sports books flying all over the place. Good Lord. That one did not pan out.
They lost by 4, but they never had a chance to win.
I should have absolutely shot out content when we were in that sports book in said South Dakota, all on Oklahoma State against Tulsa.
That could have been a whole video itself. Just on us.
It was worth it. What did we get him like
7 assholes in a sports book on the entertainment for Oklahoma State?
The entertainment on that one was worth the loss. That was fun.
It's $20.
I wonder if those people they ended up taking it, and then just the next day they're like, that fucking guy at this
They had to
book.
have.
What an
Had to have.
idiot.
He pitched it to him. He could have sold ice to an Eskimo the way he pitched it at that table that night. It was unbelievable. But all right, let's leave bad takes there. Jake, do you have any bad takes written down for yourself that maybe we didn't get clipped? And they're out there. There's probably more we're missing.
Yeah, there's plenty out there. Not that comes to my mind.
Okay. I will say in favor of the clipping aspect of the show, the good is a lot less than the negative, but the negative is funny and enjoyable for our viewers and listeners. So hit the like button for going back and finding these things, because it ain't easy. We give a lot of takes throughout a season. As much as I said we're going to hold ourselves accountable and I went first on the bad, I also gave myself first on the good. And this is more of a view of college football rather than in particular team. But I think this really did pan out through the season, and Jake sent me this one. So let's talk college football as a whole for our first best take of the 2025 season. I feel like these last few years of college football, we've had this clear-cut picture of, this team is absolutely loaded. It would take a lot for them to not make the national title game and probably win the son of a gun. Because you look back at the Georgias and last year's Ohio State, $30 million roster, Quinshaw Judkins, all the receivers. They bring in Will Howard, who's played 10 years of college football. Like, all of these factors went into us being like, man, it would be crazy if Ohio State doesn't win the national title. To me, there's not that team in my mind.
Yep.
Like, it could be LSU. It could be Oregon again. But Oregon has a question mark at quarterback. Like, there is not one team standing out to me. So do these conferences beat up on each other enough to where there's not like, we can't put 4 9-3 teams in, but pretty good.
That's a good one.
Pretty
It's
good.
funny how you
Miami,
use-
Indiana, and the
pretty
national title. Like Oregon or Ole Miss were the other two teams. Like, it was definitely not a clear picture from the preseason.
That was that one I found. That was back in like May. We recorded that episode, Parks. That was a good call early. But it was funny how LSU was your first example that just came to mind.
Yeah, LSU did not work.
Another
There's
example that falls into that Clemson or Penn State learning category for us.
I feel like there was a good clip, and I don't think I have it on here, but I believe somebody said Brian Kelly's not coaching all 12 games, right?
That was me. My hot
Okay,
take was that
that
Brian
is
Kelly.
not clipped on the show, but that's a great
Okay.
one to share.
I'm glad you said that. Yeah, one of my hot takes
Oh, I got
was
word.
Brian Kelly
Sorry.
would get fired, and basically, yeah, he wouldn't finish all 12 games. So that was we were right on that one. That was cool.
It panned out, and I guess that if you're a moral human being, that you probably love that.
You also had one, Parks. I was going to send to you, but it didn't come to fruition. You said Luke Fickell would get fired after this year, and a lot of
Probably a
people
lot
would
of
argue
people out
that
there
he
probably
should have. Yeah, so that's why we didn't use it. But I thought that was a good
No,
take. I
dude, the
found.
bro got extended and then started playing well towards the end of the
AD
year.
just doubled down against you. He's
Dead
like,
opposite.
I don't care what Parks is saying. I like
Yeah.
this guy. We're keeping him around.
You probably saw that clip and was like, you know what? Just to prove this asshole wrong. But that's the first good one. Let's go to a little combined clip from Jake and I about our predictions within the Big 12 and the Defensive Player of the Year.
Could be David Bailey. Give me any of those three. I really do think that this defense is going to wreak havoc, and I think that the two deep is even better. So, did I steal an answer there from you, Parks?
No, you didn't steal an answer, but I just didn't know if we made these lists together. I got Jacob Rodriguez, a linebacker for Texas Tech, as the Defensive
Okay.
Player of the Year. I mean, hell of a player, obviously massively productive on this deep. Pretty good. They swept a lot of those defensive awards.
Yes.
Texas
It could have,
Tech
it could have gone
defense.
to like 3 dudes. That way.
There
So
was-
we're-
We were closer to a Jacob Rodriguez Heisman than we were him not winning Defensive Player of the Year or anybody on that Tech defense as they made their run within the college football playoff. All right, let's go to Jake individually, and this one is references a listener. So shout out Jay Bird, or I believe he changed his username or whatever it is now, as he was there for our preseason shows and we were talking Cyclones in the Big 12. This is a good clip on behalf of Jake because they did get to it.
Here you go, Jay
Barely.
Bird. I'm going to go Iowa State over 7.5. I really think that's very attainable for this group. It might even be. It was 6.5 in January.
I saw
but think
7.5.
Yeah, it's probably 7.5 now. I'll still take it. And then Justin, if you're still listening, he knows where I'm going with this. Under 5.5 plus 100 for UCF. Like that's a real
Scotty.
total I'm putting money on here. Like I think that team is going to be. They got an easy schedule, but it's
That's two good clips.
A little 2 for 2.
Yeah,
I was
two.
told I was told we needed a new Big 12 guy. I've been told that in the past
multiple
so
times, actually.
I'm glad we have receipts.
I will say, let's take it away from takes for a second. For being the Big 12 guy, he sure as shit. We're taking a trip next year. Let's play the fight song to a game. You sure as shit turned around the Big 12 pretty quickly about us going down to Texas at all. You're ready for the SEC. So
to be fair, he wasn't excited about TCU or an SCU.
Like I've heard nothing, but I think you're one of those people, Parks. Maybe your dad went to a game or something. I've heard
he said it was terrible.
Numerous people that say TCU's not a great atmosphere. The game versus Iowa State this year, it was like 70% capacity, and TCU could have won that football game and been top two. Like they were still in the Big 12 title race, and like they just don't show up. I guess they're Cowboys fans. I don't know.
I just think it's just how some schools work. I don't know. Tougher to get people in the building for.
They just need national championship runs to care, I guess. I don't know what TCU's deal is.
All right, we got two more good takes. This one was not sent to me by JP, but it applies to JP and GA. If you're still out there listening and you're in the chat, you'll appreciate this one because JP gave this prediction on Nebraska earlier this season, and he hit the nail on the head. But then on the backside of it, Jake gives a little bit of what ended up to be a bad take, and they don't even have the same coach for that position group anymore.
8 wins in a pretty tough Big Ten is a lot to ask. It's a lot of blind faith.
Yeah, and you also, not just offensive side, but like you lost a lot on that defensive line. And I understand you brought in a pass rusher or two that are going to help, but that interior defensive line was no joke last year. It's hard for anybody to run the football on them, and we're just going to replace that. It feels like it's tougher than it's made out to be.
Have you seen their offensive line, though? It could be, again, very high ceiling, low floor. They brought in that kid from Notre Dame that started at guard for them all last year, and they brought in Pritchett from Alabama. I was like, okay.
So a little combination. Great take from JP. Downfall of the team was our defensive line. No defensive line coach anymore. Yeah. And then Jake on the
Elijah Pritchett was the amount of texts I got from you about Elijah Pritchett.
That bastard cost us a lot of 15-yard penalties, but he was balling at the end of the year. He will be good at Nebraska next year. But
he's back.
As far as a whole, we did allow Minnesota to reach 9 sacks. That offensive line allowed Minnesota to get 9 sacks in a game for the first time since 1950, which is back when they were dominating the sport. So
that one felt good because GA said bookmark this when I said that offensive line was going to be average at best.
JP.
I don't know. Yeah.
Come on now.
Nebraska has a really bad habit.
We're gonna have fun back and forth. We're going friendly banter.
It's a rivalry. He's a Nebraska fan. He's an Iowa fan. That's the sport as a whole, right? True. So I will not to go down a Nebraska tangent, but let's be very clear on the Nebraska offensive line story. They're really good in the offseason. They start the year okay in bad games. They have a couple of mid-conference stretch games where they're the worst in the planet, and then they get better towards the last 2 games of the year, and people are like, you know what? It wasn't that bad. And we usually don't make any changes. Therefore, we did this year. Donovan Raiola fired at the end of the season, but they were average at best is a nice way to put it for sure. All right, to wrap it up, clip for myself, JP. We didn't have too many good clips of you, but I did find one. This one was me back in G5 preview season, previewing, of course, the American Conference.
My conference championship game in the American in 2025.
North Texas.
North Texas and Tulane, baby. What are you giggling at? We just went through the schedule. You said they have no tough road games. You thought they played 4 when you looked at it. It looked so easy. You figure out the quarterback situations. The defense stops a half of a runny nose, and we're talking American Conference champs. So give me the North Texas Mean Green. A little de facto. I truly believe in them. If they can get Wazoo at home in week 3, things become really interesting at Army in week 4. And if you win that one, things are looking up and up in the Mean Green. So that one panned out. That one was just, it felt good. A little de facto goes into it, but that was, in fact, the American Conference Championship. North Texas and Tulane worked out, but North Texas was not expected to be there, people.
I can't wait for you to back Neil Brown all off season and just to convince me that Neil Brown's going to get them to an American Conference title.
You got to see what the research
I'm looking
says,
forward to it.
I did what Tavian Jackson.
I see it. Yeah. And they picked up, or they grabbed the really good running back from West Virginia a couple of years ago. That was really good under Brown. I can't remember.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's a quarterback factory. We're going to get a Tavian Jackson master.
Tavian Jackson's your answer. He was the reason I took under 5.5 wins for UCF.
So good.
I had my best take of the year probably didn't make it here.
I couldn't find the clip, JP. They were hard.
Yeah,
man.
it was hard. It's in the SEC previews. One of the times I mentioned I had Oklahoma double digits over Michigan in week 3.
Yeah,
Like I was confident in May, June.
I
said
couldn't
that a
remember
couple
whether or
times.
not you put that in the preview for that week, or I think you gave it in like early season hot takes.
It was
Right.
way early because I went to
Yeah.
the SEC preview and we go through a segment where we talk about it and it's short. And Jake goes, "Yeah, you've mentioned that a few times. Why don't you just bet it?" So I couldn't find like the origin of it, and so there wasn't a good clip. Or
I think it
anything,
was
but
from early hot takes. I think you
It had to
said
have been.
in that video you were like, no doubt Oklahoma's beat Michigan by 2 scores or more.
Yeah.
And we were all like,
And
I don't know.
I felt real
dude.
good about
Bryce
that.
Underwood. Obviously, Oklahoma makes college football playoff, but that was a very good
Mhm.
one. Jake, another good one from you. You have not jotted down. Sorry.
No, I'm glad you mentioned the Brian Kelly one. That
No.
was the other. That was the other.
That's
one.
probably your best one. Yeah.
I have.
No,
That
was it.
I was just ready to pull up the receipts for that TCU video. You want me to read
You
the
should
comments?
read them. Yeah, read them.
This was, we'll do a precursor here. This is
Yeah,
the preview for
TCU Arizona State. One of the we talked about last week. It was one of the better games of the year in week 4 or week 5, and the line was
this the one we were in South Dakota for?
No, this is the following week. This was a Friday night. Arizona State was a 2.5 point favorite, and I picked the Sun Devils. So it was kind of a split podcast that night, which is also funny by some of the comments we got. Like some people on the podcast picked TCU and liked TCU, but everyone just wanted to bag on me. So the very first comment, this got 12 likes. They need to find a better Big 12 guy because no way does Baylor have better skill position players than TCU.
I'd argue that.
I still
You
would
could argue that to the moon.
I would still argue
Especially
that.
now.
Nobody knows Big 12 football recruiting and thinks Baylor has more talent than TCU. Even when Oklahoma and Texas were in the Big 12, TCU is consistently in top 3 in recruiting. That one got 10 likes. How'd that one work out for you there, Devil Frog? That one hurt a little bit.
Of course.
You have the Texas Tech hat on in this video, Parks, and this is just funny. Of course, someone representing Texas Tech will go against Arizona State.
I'm representing No Rivals, asshole. I should have commented that back.
ShopNoRivals.com. ShopNoRivals.com.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha. Anyone who thinks Arizona State is going to beat TCU knows nothing about football. Arizona State is going to get rolled by more than 2 touchdowns. That one might be my favorite.
They did not. And you were like 3 days later, and then that did not pan out. GA did come in with a good. I did see this comment earlier. His best take this season was calling the Iowa State score on the nose, which is never easy because it's usually closer to scoregami than it is the scores you'd expect in that matchup. And he won a free No Rivals cap. If you've never been a part of the previews for the first time, next season, all throughout the season, if you guess a score and you get it correct on the nose, you get a free cap from No Rivals on behalf of Play the Fight songs.
Just ask him. We're men of our people.
I believe 2 or 3 winners this year. I know I had one on the Nebraska show. Yeah.
If I were cooking pasta right now, JP, I'd be a lot more upset. That's what
GA is. Man of class. Enjoy your carbs. Enjoy your pasta. We appreciate you being here.
We did. It makes me remember when we did the BYU preview for Iowa State, and I got a ton of traction. We had like over 100 comments of score predictions, and Justin goes, Jake, like if BYU wins, we're going to have to give somebody another hat. Like there's no way we don't get it. Nobody got it. And somebody was a point off. I don't remember what the score ended up being for Iowa. What was it, 28-24? And I think somebody said 28-23 BYU.
And there are people out there, and I'm very well aware of them on the Nebraska side of things that are like within my family or distant family that will text me of when my video is getting to be posted just so they can be the first person to go comment their score prediction for the week. And that's
appreciate him.
Yeah. So out there and be commenting your score prediction for a chance at a free No Rivals cap. Shout out shopnorivals.com and code PTFS for free shipping. All right, gents, we kind of went through a lot of bad takes, a lot of good takes. What was your favorite bad or good take? I think the Miami one takes the cake for me. I mean,
I'm still dying. I'm still dying on the thought of JP going. It's an organic thought.
In the Android
quality. Nobody was saying it.
I just want to know the mindset of JP all that week leading up to our Mac preview, JP's like, I gotta get something. I gotta have an outside of the box take here for this conference preview. Let me
I felt
come
good
up with
about it. There was a lot of quarterbacks coming
Hey,
back.
I love
They
your
brought in
conviction.
and they didn't play well. I think
we could go back. There's a couple of in that early season college football hot takes video where I think we reached in the barrel for a few takes and they just didn't ever come close. So there was probably picks out there too, week over week, where he gave some opinions individually that were just atrocious. And those usually get called out as they should. We're part of previewing the show and giving out picks. So it is what it is, right, gents? Anything else?
No, the one I was going to include, but it just didn't really. I wasn't that on the nose with it when I was talking about Indiana. They were my interesting team to follow in the Big Ten. I said I think
figure that one out for next preseason because we had a lot of people were like wild card team was ended up being really good or something like that. We'll have to figure something out.
I forgot that one. My wild card team 1,400-1 was Virginia to win the ACC. That was that close. But I said Indiana was intriguing. I think they'd be better than last year's team. But I also I think I said in the video too they'd still lose 2 games or something. So it wasn't worthy of the good take.
One of the best aspects of it too, Jake, is when you give those takes like the wild card team or intriguing team, sometimes the showmanship from other co-hosts as myself, it just doesn't pan out either. Like I remember you saying the Virginia one and me audibly gasping like, "Ugh, gross." It's like, and then all of a sudden it works out and now I look like the idiot. So I think the show goes into it a little bit for sure. But all right, that's everything for tonight. We just covered best and worst takes of our 2025 college football season. Maybe Reese will have a few that he can cherry pick next week that we can break down, but we have more content coming, more college football, of course. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, shop our great partner over at No Rivals, shopnorivals.com. Code PTFS for free shipping on any of the best hats in college sports. We love you. We appreciate you. GA, J-Bird, Friday KC. You're the men among boys, as they would say. And we'll see you next week. Jake, take it away.
Have a great week. Let's play it.